Good morning, White Sox fans. I'm Jim Margulis, and this is your White Sox wake-up call for May 9th, 2023. Well, any and all good vibes from the White Sox 11-run inning in Cincinnati on Sunday were more or less erased in the 6th inning on Monday night. Dylan Cease, Aaron Bummer, and Jimmy Lambert combined to allow 8 runs, which turned a 4-4 game into a blowout loss in Pedro Grifol's return to Kauffman Stadium. The Royals trounced the White Sox 12-5 for just their 10th victory of the season, and they dragged the Sox a game closer to the AL Central cellar. The final score is particularly galling because the White Sox staked Cease to a 3-1 lead through 3, taking advantage of some mistakes by KC's defense. In the second, Edward Olivares dropped Gavin Sheets' routine fly to left field, which allowed Luis Robert Jr. to reach second with nobody out. 2 productive outs later, he came around to score. In the third, Tim Anderson reached with the leadoff single, made it second when Zach Greinke couldn't handle a potential 1-6-3 double play ball, survived what would have been a successful pickoff attempt had the second baseman covered the bag in time, then scored on Andrew Vaughn's 2-run double for that aforementioned 3-1 lead. But Cease, who didn't register a strikeout until the final batter of the 3rd inning, started paying for mistakes in the 4th. He hit the wrong side of the plate on a 2-2 fastball to MJ Melendez, and that turned into a game-tying 2-run homer. In the 5th, Cease allowed 9th hitter Jackie Bradley Jr. to reach on a double on an 0-2 slider, and he came around to score on Vinny Pasquantino's blistered double for a 4-3 KC lead. KC's second lead of the game didn't last very long because Gavin Sheets tied it up on one of the at-bats of the year. He fell behind Greinke 1-2 on hard stuff, and then he battled to a full count over the next 9 pitches, including a sequence of 3 straight 70-something breaking balls. On the 10th pitch, Sheets finally coaxed a true mistake from Greinke, an 87-mile-per-hour something over the heart of the plate. Sheets got all of it, resulting in a 423-foot solo shot to right center that made it 4-4. And then it was 12-4. Cease dug his own grave by loading the bases with a single, hit by pitch, and a walk over the course of the first 3 batters. I'm not sure where you want to take this metaphor from here. You could say Aaron Bummer piled dirt on that grave because he allowed all 3 inherited runners to score, along with 4 of his own by allowing 3 hits to lefties. Michael Massey greeted him with a legit single, then Bradley got lucky with a bouncer inside the first base bag for a 2-run double. Bummer then retired the next 2 hitters without incident to bring Sal Perez to the plate. First base was open, and so Grifol called for the intentional walk in order to have Bummer face the fellow lefty Melendez. That's when Melendez delivered that 3rd lefty hit, a 2-run single that put the game outside of a slam at 9-4. Jimmy Lambert came in to try to stop the bleeding, but he walked Olivares to reload the bases, and then Nick Pratto unloaded them with a bases-clearing double that turned the game into a laugher. Anyway, it's hard to sustain the gravedigger theme because Bummer didn't so much fill it as he jumped in and told the Royals to back up the truck. His ERA jumped to 10.80, and now he's allowed 8 of 17 lefties to reach base on him this season. Jake Diekman was worse, but Diekman's gone, so Bummer has lost his cover. Had Bummer not imploded so majestically, we'd be talking about Cease, whose ERA climbed to 5.58 after allowing 7 runs on 9 hits and a walk over 5 innings. You can't blame control this time because he threw a ton of strikes, and the 1 walk and 1 hit batter happened in his final inning of work. He just didn't have his best swing and miss stuff. He generated just 12 whiffs over 99 pitches, in part because he tended to throw his less impressive sliders on 2-strike counts when the Royals were protecting against it. Cease dropped to 2-2, and the White Sox dropped to 4-4 in his starts, which doesn't help when the Sox are 12 games under 500 overall. The final 3 innings were more or less inconsequential aside from a strange sequence in the 7th. Royals reliever Amir Garrett struck out Elvis Andrus, who was then ejected from the game by home plate umpire Manny Gonzalez. As Grifol came out of the dugout to see what happened, Garrett started walking towards second base and took a knee. There didn't seem to be a reason for it, at least until Garrett vomited next to the mound. Had it been Bummer, we would have had a disgusting jiff or heavy circulation, but the wrong pitcher barfed. Anyway, the White Sox will try to clean it up tonight in Game 2 of the 4-game series. Once again, the pitching matchup should favor them, as it's Lucas Giolito against Jordan Lyles. Giolito has been on a hot streak, while Lyles is 0-5 with a 6.69 ERA. The White Sox supposedly were interested in Lyles a few years ago after the 2019 season, when he instead signed with the Rangers. Lyles just started what's shaping up to be a dreadful 2-year, $17 million contract with the Royals, so I suppose we can be grateful that Rick Hahn doesn't always get his man. First pitch is at 6:40 p.m. Central on NBC Sports Chicago, but you can also watch this game with us on Playback. Go to playback.tv/SoxMachine, create an account, verify your cable or streaming subscription, and you can chat with me, Josh, and the guys from the 108 as the game unfolds. It's a lot of fun, and trust me, if somebody barfs on the field again, you'll wish you were there. Down on the farm, the White Sox affiliates were all dormant on Monday as usual. New 6-game series start tonight when Charlotte welcomes Durham, Birmingham plays host to Pensacola, Winston-Salem hits the road to play Greenville, and Kannapolis travels to Fayetteville. The first item of business, seeing if Yoan Moncada continues his rehab stint with the Knights, and if so, for how long. Around the league, and I didn't say what league, the Chicago Blackhawks scored the first overall selection in the upcoming NHL draft. They had roughly a 1-in-9 chance of winning the top spot in the lottery after finishing with the league's third worst record, but that one came up, putting them in position to select Connor Bedard. Around baseball, the Tigers slipped into second place in the AL Central with a 5-2 victory over the Guardians, even though Jose Ramirez homered. The Tigers are now half game ahead of Cleveland at 16-18, 3 back to the Twins, who are off. The White Sox are 7.5 back. Elsewhere, the Cardinals got a break from their confounding, counterproductive handling of Willson Contreras because Contreras delivered 2 hits and 2 RBIs in his return to Wrigley Field, helping St. Louis to a sorely needed 3-1 victory. Like the White Sox, the Cardinals are 12-24. The Rays improved to 29-7 by shutting out the Orioles 3-0 behind 6 innings from Shane McClanahan, who improved to 7-0 while lowering his ERA to 1.76. The Pirates snapped their 7-game losing streak behind Mitch Keller's first career shutout as he pitched Pittsburgh to a 2-0 victory over the Rockies, so the Pirates were able to maintain their half-game lead over the Brewers, who beat up on the Dodgers 9-3 in Milwaukee. With the Royals getting their 10th win of the season, that leaves Oakland as the only team in single digits, but Oakland is stuck at 8 wins after losing to the Yankees 7-2. That'll do it for this edition of the White Sox Wake Up Call. Visit SoxMachine.com to talk about the game, and later in the day I'll be poking at Dylan Cease's recent rough stretch. Also, remember to join us later tonight for the Playback live stream during the game. If you are new to the Sox Machine podcast, you can subscribe to us wherever podcasts are found. And if you like what we do, feel free to support us at patreon.com/SoxMachine, where you can get an ad-free version of the site and show with bonus content on both for as little as $2 a month. Thanks for listening to the Sox Machine podcast. For SoxMachine.com, I'm Jim Margulis.